Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 7 o'clock, and we will commence the Town Council meeting. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Let's start the August 24th Town Council meeting, and first item on the agenda is public input. This is for any citizens that wish to make any kind of input for any subject that is not on the agenda. Sheila, do we have any speakers signed up?
None.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, so the mics are a learning curve. We will make some adjustments if needed. So this is kind of the first full test because it sounds like we need to tweak the volumes a little bit.
Yes.
So, coming soon.
Well, I'll mention it to everybody. You'll see a different layout for our dais today. This evening, you see microphones. We hope everybody can hear it well and much better than we used to in the past. So we did some investment in the program to make sure everybody can hear everything on the town. And I give Troy and Sheila big kudos for working this process through. It took a little bit of time. With that, I'll close public input and we'll go to staff, mayor, and council reports. I'll start up the reports if you don't mind. Troy, this evening, is that okay? First, I'd like to, as everyone knows, I started a program that said for our Volunteer of the Year Award, which is very important to Copper Canyon volunteering in a small town, accomplishing items that we can't do by ourselves, and we have quite a group of people that do it every year. This year, one of our big hits every year, of course, is the July 4th Parade, and that has the Woodlands Women's Group helps us out. They run roughshod on that thing mostly and set it up for us. And one of the key players in there is Carol Owens. And she was not able to make it this year to the parade, but she's here today. And I would like to give her a certificate for being Volunteer of the Year for Copper Canyon for her work. And all the women at the women's group really help out a lot in that parade. It's a big success throughout Denton County. Hand it over to Troy.
Mayor and Council, as this is our second meeting of the month, and typically we don't do the full staff report, so that's why you don't see fire or the engineers and that type of thing. So we usually do those one per month. So nothing really to report at this point. We'll have a full report on September 14th, everything that happened in August.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll move on now to the consent items. Consent items are items that are administrative, usually passed in one single motion. We only have one item on the consent item tonight, which is approve the August 10th, 2026 minutes of the council meeting. If there isn't, is there any discussion on the item for consent? Hearing no discussion from the council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the August 10th, 2026 council meetings.
I make a motion to approve August 10th, 2026 minutes of the council meeting.
Motion made for approval. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Seconded, the motion made by Councilmember Henry, seconded by Councilmember Castillo. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. That passes unanimously 3-0. By the way, we are missing a couple council members tonight due to absences for vacation and things, so we're down to our 3 quorum members. Moving on to the next item would be public hearing. These will be public hearings on 3 different items that are listed in the agenda. The first one is conduct a public hearing for the proposed budget for fiscal year 26-27 for the Town of Copper Canyon annual budget. Is there any public hearing, any public input for that? And I open the public hearing at 7:05. Is there any public input for the budget? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. And we'll move to the next item, which is a public hearing considering ordinance 26012, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance of the Town of Copper Canyon relating to and requiring open space in new developments by amending Exhibit 14A zoning ordinance by adding Section 14-124 open space requirements. And I will open that public hearing at 7:06. Is there any input, any public hearing input for the ordinance for 26-012? Hearing none. Sheila, is there anybody signed up on the sheets? Hearing none, we'll close that public hearing at 7:07. We'll move to the next item. Oh, excuse me. I'm keeping that item open, all right?
Yeah, we're gonna leave that item open.
Well, that's right, I'm keeping that item open, and we'll be discussed why, so that item still remains open as of 7:07,
So rather than closing it, you're keeping it open?
keeping it open.
Yes, okay.
Better stick to my notes
Be kept open until the next meeting.
until the next meeting. Going to the next item, which is the town council will conduct a public hearing regarding Hacienda de los Sueños final plat, lots 1 through 4, Block A, allowing for development of approximately 9.6 acres situated in the J. Edmondson Survey Abstract Number 398 in the town of Copper Canyon, Texas, and to allow for the development of 4 single-family lots located at 399 Woodland Drive, Copper Canyon, Texas 75077. With that, I will open public meeting on that subject at 7:08. Is there any public input? Anybody wish to speak on that subject for the Hacienda de los Sueños? Sheila, anyone signed up on the sheets?
None?
None. With that, due to administrative issues, we'll keep that public hearing open until September 14th, the next public council meeting we have for next month. And next, we'll go to the next item, items for consideration. Members of the public could speak on these items, and we'll do all 3 items. Anybody that wants to speak at the same time on the subjects. The first item we're going to discuss and consider and take action regarding the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee regarding Hacienda de los Sueños final plat. Lots 1 through 4, Block A, allowing development of approximately 9.6 acres, situated in the J. Edmondson Survey Abstract Number 398 in the town of Copper Canyon, Texas, and allow for the development of 4 single-family lots located at 399 Woodland Drive, Copper Canyon, Texas 75077. Is there any discussion by the town council on that?
I had just a few question for Schaefer. First of all, I've told you this before, you guys did an amazing job on this. So, and this is just for emergency, is there where's the closest hydrant to that area? Do we know? Chief's not here, I guess I can ask him.
It's right across the street.
Oh, it's right across
Yeah.
the street?
So if
Oh,
you
it's
look out,
close.
if you look right out the door, there's one just right there.
Okay, and then in the note from CCM, it says no public streets are proposed as part of the plat, and the lots will take direct access from Woodland. So Hacienda de los Sueños Drive is a private road?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
so we have no maintenance issues or,
That is correct.
okay. Well, that's all I have.
Shaver, I know they went back and forth on that.
Last I remember, it was still a
still a public road, and they hesitated going private because they didn't want to do a gate. So let me rephrase that. It will be a public street, because then they would have to, if they wanted to go private, they would have to change a lot of their drawings and whatnot based on standards. So
Okay.
it is. I believe it is a public street. It is, yeah, I believe so too.
So their final plat narrative to us says no public streets are proposed as part of the plat, and all lots will take direct. So
Right.
we'll need to make sure that do they change, how will that work?
Yeah, so we'll confirm that.
Okay.
And we'll have a response on the 14th for sure.
Okay, just
yeah.
with all the conversations
Yeah.
about streets and roads and
Yes.
everything, I just wanted to clear that up.
No,
So-
fair enough.
Okay,
Great
thank you,
question.
guys.
Excellent question, Paul. Anybody else, any other council members? Yes, ma'am.
Is it gonna be gated? It's not gonna be gated because it's not private streets, but is it gonna have a wall around it or a fence around it, or do we know that yet?
I think it will have fencing, but not, landscape shielding.
Not like a stone fence or anything?
Yeah, not a gated HOA or anything like that.
I was just wondering, because the topography of that property is unique. You guys did all the due diligence for sure on if they go in and somebody wants to put a home on some part of it that needs to be graded, will that affect the drainage or anything with that easement in there?
It's a good question.
Schaefer, can you come up to the podium? Yeah.
That's okay, I'll speak loudly. So that is a good question. So we do require full civil engineering drawings for this subdivision, which does include grading. And we have required that the grading, work with the existing topography and, not negatively impact the neighbors. And so, whenever someone comes to develop those lots, we will then review the building permits based off of the civil engineering plans that we review.
Okay. I just know that it is somewhat hilly in there, and we just need to make sure that nobody around there gets affected. Okay,
The other thing they were required to do is, given that there's a creek that runs through the property, they were required to do a downstream impact study, which is a pretty extensive study on how that water flows through and under the railroad tracks, and how does it impact, and, how much water are they shedding off that development based on the 4 new lots.
will that filter into the Poindexter Creek that we're working on where near estates eventually? Is that creek?
I don't think that runs.
Yeah,
into
that
the
one
state.
goes under Chin Chapel, then down through the core property, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
Yeah, it doesn't reach the Estates Bridge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, we're not taking any action on that item because we're still open, the public hearing's still open, so that action, I'll take a motion. I move to propose, we postpone this matter till the next regular council meeting in September, and I'll take a motion to that effect to postpone any action on this item until September 14th.
I make a motion, we postpone action regarding the recommendation from P&Z regarding Hacienda de los Sueños final plat, allowing for the development of approximately 9.6 acres, and allow for the development of 4 single-family lots until the council meeting on September 14th.
Motion to postpone made by Councilmember Castillo. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Newton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. And that passes 3-0 for a postponement until the next council meeting of September 14th. Next item on the agenda is consider and take action regarding Resolution 2602, reviewing and approving the town's investment policy and investment strategies, recording any changes made to the investment policy or investment strategies, and confirming the designation of the town investments officer. I'm going to hand this over to Troy real quick. Do you have any comments on that?
Mayor and council, as Councilmember Noonan and Councilmember Dahl had reviewed this document, I think a month or so ago, and there were no changes made to it, so the Finance Committee feels that the policy is adequate for the town of Copper Canyon.
Okay, thank you. And also, we're going to designate Jeff Dahl as the town investment officer for review of those committees, review of those items also?
Right.
Yes.
And that's a state requirement that you've got to assign somebody to view the policy and then our quarterly reports, and Councilmember Dahl and Noonan both get those reports every quarter before it comes to council, so they have opportunity to review those. But that's a state requirement that we appoint somebody and review the policy annually.
Thank you. Councilman Newton, do you have any comments for us tonight on the subject?
I think that Troy has covered the basics of what we've needed to discuss, which is that we have taken due diligence to make sure that we've, taken the time to review the policy and no changes are needed. So we recommend that the council approve.
Okay, very good. Yes, both the entire financial committee, we have Councilmember Newton as the chairman of the finance committee and Councilmember Dahl as the chief investment officer. Splitting up those duties allows us to have oversight through all issues, and I think it's a good process. You guys have developed a very good way of handling our money where it's at, and our budget, which we'll talk about in a little bit. With that, though, I will take any kind of motion for accepting 2602 and appointing Councilmember Dahl as the town's investment officer.
I will say before we make a motion that the appointment is a state requirement, but the honor of being the chairman is something that the mayor, it's in his purview to ask, and that time is up. And so it's been an honor to do that for this year, but it will be within your purview to ask should you want me to continue, or if there is someone else that is better suited for that position. So I just want to let you know that that is something that is an annual review as well.
Okay,
So
I appreciate you bringing that up.
something that you can take into your council.
Thank you.
So, but with that being said, I make a motion that we approve the resolution 26-02, reviewing and approving the town's investment policy and investment strategies, recording any changes made, which there are none. So I would say that we would approve it as it is written currently for the next year, 26-27. Is that what you would say, 26-27 year coming for the investment policy and investment strategies, and that we would confirm the designation of Jeff Dahl as our town of Copper Canyon investment officer.
Thank you. Motion made by Councilmember Newton. Do I have a second on that?
I
accepting both
second.
those? Seconded by Councilmember Henry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Hearing none, no nays. That's a unanimous vote, 3-0, in accepting Resolution 2602 and appointing also Councilmember Dahl as the town investment officer. And Councilmember Newton makes a good point about the chairmanship jobs, and we have those set up for next month, is what my plan was to do.
Okay.
Is reestablish those for our fiscal year, which starts October. So expect to hear that next month.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the next item, which is discuss, consider, and take action regarding ordinance 26013, amending the town's budget for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, as adopted by ordinance number 25010, by providing the adjustments to the Copper Canyon General Operating Reserve, capital investment, and interest sinking court technology, court security, crime control and prevention district, and wastewater funds. And what this is all about is we've had to make a final adjustment as we close out this fiscal year on our budget and close out the budget. And I'm going to let Troy cover a couple items on that.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So as you guys know, any municipal budget has to have amendments because things change throughout the year as long as you're not changing your bottom line number. And so with our budget, you see the 2025, 2026 approved amount, and then what we've actually spent. And so we've got to make an amendment to have some of that line up. We're still kind of projecting what we're going to spend in September, but we think those numbers are pretty close. One of the numbers that you have seen that's different than what we presented on the 10th is under the revenue section, there's a line 32 that talks about insurance proceeds, and that was due to a recent vehicle accident that we had. And because we're going to receive those proceeds in this fiscal year, the 25-26 year, we have to record that. And so that was one of the biggest changes that we made from what y'all saw on August 10th. Some of the other things were just minor based on the invoices that we received as well, and then what we had predicted. But that was one of the biggest changes we made as it relates to amending the budget, the 25-26 budget.
Okay, thank you, Troy, appreciate it. Is there any other comments by any of the council members on amending this current fiscal year's budget, which runs till the end of September? No comments, I'll close the discussion, and I'll accept any motion to accept amending the fiscal year budget of 2025 through September 30, 2026.
I move that we approve the ordinance 26-013, amending the town's budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, as adopted by ordinance number 25-010, by providing for the adjustments to the Copper Canyon General Operating Reserve, Capital Improvement, Interest in Sinking, Court Technology, Court Security, Crime Control, and Prevention District, and wastewater funds.
Motion made for acceptance of the amending the budget by Councilmember Newton. Do we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Castillo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. And that's approval by 3-0, unanimous decision to approve the ordinance accepting the amended budget. Going to the next item, discuss, consider, take action regarding ordinance 26014, approving and adopting a new town budget for the fiscal year October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027. This is the new budget we talked about last week. We've had public hearings on it, and we've amended it with the additional items from the insurance claim that just came into us. So that's where we're at today, and do we have any discussion on that, on the future budget for next year?
Mayor, I just got a couple highlights. Again, due to the accident that occurred, there's two line items that we had looked at for 26-27. So the insurance, TML liability insurance, we had sent them some information on what impact this may or may not have to our insurance. You know, anytime you have a car accident, there's always that chance. So we added some dollars to that line item. It was initially back on October 10th at $29,000. We bumped that up to $36,000 as part of the whole package. And then also on the spreadsheet, line 131, we were not anticipating purchasing a vehicle. And so that you'll see $65,000 on that line item. And understanding we're getting insurance proceeds to offset a majority of that cost, that $46,000 that we talked about earlier. Plus, we may not get to that point. Anytime, as some of you guys may know, you transfer equipment from one car to another, they give you the best estimate, and it's usually pretty good, but sometimes there's little things, whether it's the rack to mount the computer, it sometimes doesn't align correctly, so they come back and say, well, this didn't work for this particular model of car, we couldn't transfer that over. So the next item that y'all have to consider is the purchase of that new vehicle, and they're a little bit different vehicles, and so we added a little bit more dollars into that total funds of the car, even though we don't think we'll spend that amount. But I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. The other line item I wanted to chat about is the line item 178. This is in the CIP. I had a request. We had the signal light Opticon scheduled for the following year, for the 27-28 fiscal year. And there was some concerns that we want to go ahead and do it this year, but we still have to work with Double Oak because of the control boxes in Double Oak. And so we added that back to this year's CIP as well. So that kind of impacted the monies transferred. We initially had $700,000 in there to transfer over into the CIP. With that project, we need to transfer another 10 grand. So you'll see that line item transfer, you'll see that different than what we had presented on August the 10th. And the actual cost of that, if you look at line 187, it says CIP projects, that 44,350 includes adding that Opticon to that intersection. And so we'll see if we can partner with Double Oak and maybe they'll occur and partner with some of the cost as well and kind of split the cost to go along with that. But those were the major items as it relates to the budget. And then the last sheet, that's the summary, the financial budget summary. You'll see under capital improvements, I didn't put line numbers here, but if you look at capital improvements, there was, I believe, $350,000 to be transferred from the revenue logic and the revenue text pool, so we have the funds available. And then we added $5,000 to each one of those to come up with the $710,000 to make it all work on that change due to the signal light. But that is what we have as far as the 26-27 budget, difference from what we presented back on the 10th.
And for everyone's understanding, the Opticon system is the system that the police and fire department uses to change the red lights to green so they can immediately respond to emergencies and get their traffic and their operation to where they needed to go and things. And it's an important issue, but we do have to work with Double Oak to get that done. And I think we're going to try to work really hard this year because it is a safety item and it affects 407. So not only us, but lots of neighborhoods in the area around here. So we're going to try to get that done, no question about it. And that's why I asked Troy to move it up into this year's budget instead of pushing it off, budgeting it for the following year.
Yep.
So if Double Oak has hesitation with it, can we go forward on our own, or do we have to have their approval?
We have to have their approval because TxDOT won't give us permission to insert equipment that's not in our jurisdiction. So hopefully we can work with Double Oak and they maybe can split the cost. Worst case is we would flip 100% of the bill. So, it's just having a good conversation with them. I had brought it up to their town administrator probably 2 months ago as we were going through budget processes because I was going to try to tag it on to what they're doing at Vickery and 407 as well. So, but there was some hesitation there because they, as you guys know, they got a new council, new mayor, and he was trying to fill all those guys out and kind of see if that's something they wanted. So,
But they have a dog in the hunt because they have their volunteer fire department and their
Yes.
emergency police.
Yep.
So it would behoove them to go ahead and do that with us.
I would agree, and I think they also contract EMS services through Flower Mound, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys have been through that intersection many times, and if you're driving down Copper Canyon Road, headed south to 407, during peak traffic hours, that backs up. And of course, the fire station is further down Copper Canyon Road. So they need adequate time to clear that intersection to either A, go to Double Oak, Bartonville, and or Vickery or Williams Ranch or anywhere on that part of town for us. So it's an important tool to have to decrease that response time.
We're in early negotiations with them. We'll talk to them about it and stuff. And if we need to, we'll take a bag of Brahms burgers over to them and get it through.
Troy, I have a question.
Yes.
We discussed numbers about the police vehicle and kind of what insurance was going to pay and what the overall net cost was going to be.
Right.
And what we're seeing right now is the 60,000, excess, or what, not to exceed 60,000.
Right.
And so I see that it's coming into the budget right now, but where is it going to reflect
So-
the insurance money and kind
Great.
of how that's all going to play out in the budget?
Great question. So anytime you receive insurance proceeds for a particular reason, we have to earmark that almost as a restricted fund.
Okay.
So I can't grab that 46,000 and go, put a new sign out in front of town hall.
Of course.
We've got to restrict that, and that's why we created that line item that says insurance proceeds. And so that can only be used for what it was intended to be used for.
What line item would that be?
So that was on the revenue side, and that was line 31.
Okay.
Or 32, I'm sorry. Yeah.
As we discussed it, I didn't know if
Yeah,
it was going to
so-
reflect right now or
And
how it's
this
gonna-
is the first year we've had to do that, so that was
course.
a new line item that we put on there. So, for example, if we get hail damage and it destroys our roofs and vehicles, and we
You
get
said 31?
32.
32,
Yeah.
okay.
So it says insurance
it.
proceeds.
Okay, it was a little bit lower than what I think we had talked about Thursday, reflecting, and so that's why I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, I think we had talked about 47, and it's actually 4659.
I was thinking it was more in the 50s
Yeah.
when we talked. And
Yeah,
so-
and that's the cost of the vehicles, around 51.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, so that has to be earmarked for that particular use in which we get the funds for. So, yeah.
Okay. I was just trying to, run numbers when it all plays out.
Yeah.
So I can keep up with that. So, thank
Absolutely.
you.
And while we're on that subject, just for everyone to know, our car accident with our police officer, no one got hurt. It was a aggressive fender bender, if you want to call it that way, but nobody got hurt, and we're still working through the insurance claim and all the other things that are dealt with that. So our insurance company is dealing with that. So, but the important thing is no one got hurt in that one. Any other discussion on the proposed fiscal budget for 26-27? Hearing none, I'll take action for approving and adopting the town budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027, and this will be a roll call vote. Councilmember Newton, how do you vote?
Well, we have to make the
Oh,
motion
make a
first.
motion first.
Sorry, I was writing notes.
Sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance 26-014, approving the town budget for the fiscal year October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027.
Motion made by Councilmember Newton to approve the budget for fiscal year 26-27. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Castillo to approve the fiscal year budget 26-27. And now we can do the roll call vote. Councilmember Newton, how do you vote?
Aye.
He votes aye.
Sorry, my brain just missed.
Councilmember Henry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Aye, that's an aye? Aye,
Do I have to say aye?
I think so.
Okay, aye.
Thank you. It's a Navy thing.
Okay.
Councilmember Castillo, how do you vote?
Aye.
No, she's, double vote. All right, so that passes 3-0. Anybody against, well, nobody can, so 3-0 unanimous vote to approve the ordinance 2614, approving and adopting the town budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027. Okay, Sheila? Got it. Okay. Nope, that's okay. Next item on the agenda, please, is to discuss, consider, and take action regarding the purchasing and outfitting of a Dodge Durango from Clay Cooley Holding Limited, including $800 allotment for removal of usable police department equipment from the damaged vehicle and transferring usable equipment into the new vehicle. Estimated cost for the total amount would be $60,000 roughly, and also to authorize the mayor to execute necessary purchasing and documents should any cost overruns occur with this updating a new vehicle. Discussion by the town council on purchasing the replacement vehicle for the accident vehicle.
Do we have it yet, or,
So,
we have it picked out?
yes, and so if you look at the scope from Clay Cooley, it's a Dodge Durango. They have that on their lot. And two incentives for going with Clay. One, the vehicle was a little bit cheaper than our other vendor. And then also they had it, we will probably receive that car mid-October versus the other vendor we were going to be about 4 or 5 months out. And so that was another deciding factor for us.
So once we get it from Clay Cooley, then we send it to Defender
No.
to be outfitted, or it'll be,
Clay Cooley's going to do the whole thing for us.
okay, through
So-
Defender, they'll have all the,
No, and so Defender, they can provide the cars and put all the wiring and do all the equipment. They can do it as a one-stop shop. Clay Cooley can do the exact same thing, a one-stop shop. They can reinstall all the equipment, they can take all the equipment out of the old vehicle, put it in the new vehicle, do all the graphic work on it as well, the decals, the whole thing. So, once we get that car from the collision location where it's sitting now, which Roger's gonna work on that next week, we're gonna get that over to Clay Cooley, and they'll start immediately taking all the usable parts off of it and transferring it onto that Dodge Durango, because they have it on the lot. And it matches our color and the whole deal, the current one that we have as well.
And Chief, you've seen the vehicle and you approve, or, I mean? Okay. So we feel like that's the one we want
Yes.
to replace
Yep.
it with? Okay, perfect.
Yep, would recommend it.
Yes, for availability and cost, it really is the best deal. We have another bid in the package for those who don't have the package in front of them on a much more expensive vehicle. What the company through would be, as Paula was talking about there, was Defender, but their cost of retrofitting and everything like that is a lot more than what Clay Cooley would do, and we get the same thing. We get a brand-new Durango, and most of the cost of the new vehicle is from the insurance proceeds that we received from the insurance company for the wreck. So it ends up being a very good deal. Wish we didn't have the wreck, but it ends up being a good deal for a replacement cost, in my view.
Because that's, one bid is 66
Yes,
plus,
yes.
and the other one's 51
Yeah,
plus. So
right.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great.
There's about a $14,000 and $15,000 difference.
What is the normal life of a police car? What was the expectation when we buy new vehicles?
Usually about every 4 to 5 years, just based on, how much mileage and things they put on it and how they drive them, and
Okay.
that's everything. So, so from a cycle perspective, we would probably turn that vehicle over, like I said, about every 4 to 5 years. If we were not having any issues with it, if the maintenance.
Barring this accident,
Yes,
of course.
even more so than an accident. If we started seeing transmission issues or that type of thing,
Right.
that's usually our red flag to start looking at, getting a new vehicle. And usually roughly it's about 4 to 5 years.
So for the overage that we have on this, how long was the life of this particular vehicle?
It would have been 4 or 5 years, but there was only 3,000 miles on it.
This particular vehicle?
The one
that was-
that got in the accident, yes.
Yeah.
Only had about 3,000 miles
Yes.
on it?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll say this, what Troy was talking about there was probably historical police department use of vehicles. And we, of course, don't use the vehicles as much probably as most other, because we're
Right.
still, and we don't have the historical data background to base it on yet because of our new police department that we have here. So we're still developing all that data to try to figure out how long they'll last. But I fully expect these vehicles to last longer than 4 or 5 years.
Right.
In my opinion. So that's only coming from a car guy opinion.
And that's a hybrid as well?
No, it's not.
Oh, I thought I read.
No.
So we'd only
don't
had
think it
this
is.
vehicle like about a year?
The one that was in the accident, roughly, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that 3,000 miles in a year is not very much. Any other discussions? Councilmember Henry, anything at all? Good, okay, very good. We'll close the discussion on that, and I will take a motion to purchase and outfit a new Dodge Durango from Clay Cooley.
I make a motion that we purchase and outfit the Dodge Durango police vehicle from Cooley Holding, including $800 for the removal of the reusable PD equipment from the damaged vehicle and transfer and installation of reusable vehicle into the new one in a total amount not to exceed $60,000, and authorize our mayor to execute the necessary purchasing documents.
Motion made by Councilmember Castillo. And do we have a second on that motion?
I second.
Seconded by Councilmember Henry. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Hearing no nays, it's a unanimous decision, 3-0, to accept and purchase and outfit the Dodge Durango from Clay Cooley as written in our documents. Going on to the next item, we have discuss, consider, take action regarding ordinance 26012, establishing an open space requirement for new residential developments by amending zoning ordinance 14A and adding section 4-124, providing for open space minimums. Open space and open space requirements and open space standards, providing technical standards for location, design, and infrastructure of open space, establishing standards for stormwater detention, retention facilities, and to ensure zero increase in water velocity, providing for administration and enforcement, and providing for related matters. I'll open the discussion on that subject, if we don't mind.
I'll start. I'm very pleased with how this turned out, and we've been working on this for several months. We've had a lot of input. We had input from residents. I know that we've had a lot of input here on the council. I think that this ordinance was well-written, and I like the fact that it's concise, easily understood. And I think it's something that our residents are going to find value in. We have basically now areas for people to go, take their kids, enjoy Copper Canyon, maybe if they have a smaller lot and they don't have the beauty of 2 acres, 5 acres, 10, 7, whatever. So I'm very proud of this ordinance that we've put forth just to increase the quality of life, I think, for our residents.
Thank you, Councilmember Castillo. I want to mention that we're not going to vote on this item today. We're going to put it on hold or move it to next month due to some administrative errors that happened as we went through the process of getting this to the table of the council for judgment. And I'm going to mention some things here, why we started on this process or why we started on this ordinance. And I'm going to say we saw a need for new developments, that new developments should establish open space for our residents, whether those developments are gated HOAs or open developments such as the Woodlands or Chin Chapel North. Enjoying our country atmosphere is what Copper Canyon life is about. Currently, our residents and families that try to enjoy the outdoors are basically restricted to walking on the roadways. This is because in the past, there's never been a requirement for dedicated public grounds built into developments that are accessible for residents. I'm quite sure every city or town has some sort of guidance to developers that demands capturing space for the community to enjoy the outdoors. At the start of this process, I asked Councilmember Dahl to retrieve basic guidance from other communities. This starting point was then moved through 5 to 6 months of public hearings, planning and zoning review, and council input to the document we have today for approval. This final document has been reviewed and written by our town attorney's office in consultation with our contracted ordinance review consultant. The purpose of this ordinance is to ensure each future development provides land for families to enjoy the outdoors, which is why we have all chosen to live in Copper Canyon. This is one editorial change. There's one editorial change I'm going to make to start with, which we retrieved from the previous meeting at Planning and Zoning. Due to the administration oversight, we're going to send this document back to Planning and Zoning for an up or down vote for recommendation prior to returning it to the council for a final vote in our September meeting. So this is all about making sure that our neighborhoods, future development, future land development has space for people to get out and enjoy it. Our woods, our trees, our animals that come through the neighborhoods, like deer. We just saw one the other day along 407. So the editorial portion I'm going to make to start off with is the change on the very title of the page where it says, Sheila, where it says for open space minimums, take out, remove the fee in lieu of, and insert the word and open space. So we'll have that in the next document when it comes out.
Could you repeat the second half of that? Remove the fee.
The fee in lieu of, in the title of the document itself, 2602, and insert in place the words and open space, just the word and.
I have one comment.
And I will open it up for rest comment.
I just want to say that I think it's an important ordinance. I agree with it, and, I mean, not that I'm trying to give my, vote or anything, but I think it's a well-worded document. I think the changes that have happened are important, and I agree that the specifics that have been added are important. Thank you for that.
I'm gonna fall over here.
And I appreciate that the wording changes that I've asked for have been listened to. So I just want to put on record that I did have a conversation with Troy, and I just want to further that I still feel that there is potential, loopholes in some of the wording that remains. I would point to Section 7 and the area in, oh my goodness, sorry, this is part of getting old.
Section 7.3.
Yes, 3, where it notes, is it 3? Where,
Number 3?
yes. I feel that it's not 3. Why am I like losing my place here?
Because if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, thank you.
It's the failure to pay within 125 days shall be
Yes,
deemed
sorry, my brain is
by
like,
the
yes.
owner and not compliant.
Well, and so what it's saying right there in the original, or in the language as it's written, it says, failure to pay within 120 days shall be deemed an intent by the owners to not comply. And so what originally it had been worded, we went from an intent to dedicate land, and the word remains now that it shall be deemed an intent by the owners. And again, I want to make sure that I'm clear. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not someone that has that kind of degree, and I'm not trying to be a wordsmith here. I'm just simply a council person that wants to protect the residents and the people of Copper Canyon. And that's always my heart, and I want to lead with that. But I want to make sure that as we're talking about remedies, that there is a violation. And that word to me, I only have Google. That's all I have. And I want to make sure that I'm looking at our, representation here, and that I'm, asking for counsel in that way, because that is who we have to represent, Copper Canyon. What I asked for from the very beginning was that we were talking about that we have a remedy that is already being used in Copper Canyon and referenced in other ordinances and other places, and that what is remains, and that we use that, because what I want is a really good ordinance, and it is a good ordinance, and that those remedies remain, that if somebody does not do something, that we use the legal ramifications to enforce that. So there's a violation, you didn't maintain it, we gave notice, we did the work as Copper Canyon, you didn't reimburse us, therefore we can use legally available enforcement remedies, including a lien. And that is, as I understand it, in other things that we've done in Copper Canyon. I don't want to get into an argument with someone that we're trying to infer mental status. You didn't intend to do something. And the fact is, the bill wasn't paid. That's a violation. And I want to make sure that we're using really clear legal language. And while we can maybe prove intent, I just don't want to get into litigation about it. And so I just want to make sure that we're protecting our town. And so I don't mean to argue about one word, but it's just important to me because it is such a good ordinance.
Okay.
And that's all.
No, that's very good. Very good heartfelt consideration. We appreciate that, of course. So my question is for you,
Yes,
Councilmember Newton.
yes.
Would you have any language already developed that you would like to insert in that?
I always go to refer to this. I'm not the lawyer.
Okay, but I mean,
But I would just ask,
recommendation.
isn't the word violation a more legally sound word?
So I'll speak on this, and I talked to Troy a little bit earlier about this as well. We are going to defer this specific wording to lead counsel Deborah Edmondson.
Yes.
Tim Nichols here, I'm taking her place.
Yes.
And so taking your comments under advisement, we're going to speak over that. That way we can ensure that we're getting the intent of the ordinance correct more than anything. So,
No pun intended, right? Like
yes.
for the.
So I don't want to
use
say
that
anything,
word.
out of pocket right now.
Of course, and I'm not
But we will
asking
take that
you
under
to.
advisement
So
before
if you could
the
take
next
that to
meeting.
her, yes. Thank you.
Very good. Well, Troy, you have a comment? No?
No.
Okay. Look
And
like you're
it's not,
jumping on the
and it's
microphone.
not a hill to die on. Please hear me on that. I just want the best for Copper
Oh, yeah,
Canyon.
no, absolutely, we all do, and what we'll do is, this, that's why we're gonna add these little additions to it, changes. One's already been mentioned, we'll work on this next language. We'll have our lead attorney
Yes.
figure out language, and if you have any suggestions for yourself, please forward them to Troy and copy our attorney and myself, and then we'll figure out how we can insert that, whether
That's
it's
fine.
appropriate or not.
That's
And
fine.
we'll always, I will say this, we'll defer to our attorney and
Always.
her judgment of what the best language would be for that one sentence.
Always the way we want it.
Okay,
Was this written and this was in place when our P and Z met last Monday?
yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And was this in place when we met 2 weeks ago? And we just didn't get it, or?
And it was originally the way that I said was a problem.
Yeah, she mentioned it 2 weeks ago, too,
Yes.
I was
So-
getting confused with the other one where we had,
the in lieu of.
Where we would take control over it and.
Yeah.
things of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been lots of versions, so.
yeah, that's what I was confused on,
Yeah.
if this was the supposed final version.
Yeah.
This was the final version that the P and Z saw and moved to us. So
Okay.
it hasn't changed since then, but.
So this will
That's-
have to go back to them for a recommendation to come back to us.
It has to, well, it has to go back to P and Z because of an administrative error from P and Z,
Right.
not because of the language in the ordinance.
Okay.
But we're gonna update the language in the ordinance a little bit.
Right.
Based on recommendation from P and Z. And the other question that occurred through the P and Z meeting was, if you'll notice on page 2, maybe 3, under section 5, park development fee, open space not improved fee amount, the park development fee is set at $3,000 per each required open space. If you remember, the planning and zoning meeting had a recommendation to move that to $5,000. My recommendation would, of course, start at $3,000. You know, I don't want to, anyways, is there any temperature on the council to decrease the amount of requirement? And the purpose of this money is to establish in the open space some kind of facility, park benches, jungle gyms, things like that, for families to use, instead of having just a field out there. Is there any temperature in the council? Do you wish it to be greater than 3,000? Do you wish it to be less than that? So we can have a good document to go to P and Z to come back here next month.
I'm comfortable with the $3,000 development fee because they can also make other improvements. And I do understand, because I did watch the meeting, what the commissioner was talking about, $5,000 when you're buying jungle gyms and benches and all. But I'm comfortable with 3. I don't think we want to just,
I don't think we want to make it an unattainable amount that makes
Right.
it ridiculous for,
I agree.
to
That's how I
force people
feel.
to do, so.
that's how I
We're comfortable, I believe I'm taking the feeling of the council that $3,000 is a good number to remain at. So we'll leave it as
Yes.
it is when we pass this back to the P and Z, so they can make a final vote on the ordinance. Okay, very good, saw that. Those were the only 2 issues really that I saw in the P and Z meeting that really, they would have wished to have something different in this ordinance. And I absolutely agree with Councilmember Newton's and Councilmember Castillo's, and I know Councilmember Henry's feelings are the same, that this is a tremendous ordinance that will help out the people of Copper Canyon in future developments. We still have a lot of land to develop. We still have a lot of places that can have HOAs, open space, open housing, and this really helps the families out when they get out of their houses and want to take a walk. Okay, very good. I'll close discussion on that, and we will,
Is this being postponed until the next meeting, or is that how it would
it
be
is being,
worded?
yes, it's being tabled to
Okay,
the
so-
next meeting. I'll take a motion to table,
Read what's on the sheet.
reading what's on the sheet.
That-
Exactly.
Thank you, Sheila.
Okay.
I'll take a motion to postpone this matter to the next council meeting scheduled for September 14th, 2026 at 7 PM.
All right, I'll do it.
Motion to postpone.
All right, I make a motion that we postpone the ordinance 26-012, establishing open space requirements for the new residential development by amending the zoning ordinance 14A and adding section 4-124, providing for open space minimums, fee in lieu of open space improvements, and open space standards, providing technical standards for the location, design, and infrastructure for open space, establishing standards for stormwater detention and retention facilities to ensure zero increase in water velocity, providing for administration enforcement, and providing for related matters until the next meeting, September 14th, 2026.
And that is a motion, and that's on the amended ordinance based on those items. The one item we talked about at the start, and then any recommendation later on from our town attorney relative to the words in number 6, or number 7.3? Is it 7?
Section 7,
7, number 3.
number 3.
7, number 3. Any adjustments to those things go back to planning and zoning for a vote. Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Newton to postpone this till next council meeting.
I second.
Seconded by Councilmember Henry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. And that's a unanimous vote, 3-0, to postpone this ordinance and return it back to planning and zoning with the amended language to be come back to our desk by the September 14th meeting of 2026. That completes the agenda. Next item on the agenda is discussion of future agenda items. Does any council member have any requests for future agenda items on the next meeting of September 14th? No, hearing none, I'll take a motion for adjournment of the town council meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Motion made by Councilmember Newton. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Castillo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. That's a unanimous vote to adjourn the meeting at 7:55.